it's Jess from Meyer Hatchery. Welcome to a wonderful fall day. It's a little rainy, but we are doing our coop prep to get our coop ready for winter time. I wanted to share a few tips for you to do when you're getting your coop ready for the winter. Let's get started. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at my coops, and I'm going to make sure that they're going to be able to withstand the winter and do any maintenance that I need to do. So this year we have our flock in our tractors and in our omelets like this here. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be checking my vents and making sure that they are set to the right setting. I'm going to make sure that nothing tried to get in the fencing this year, which it didn't, but I still double check. And I'm also going to make sure that I prepare the location where I'm going to be putting my tractors. So if you have a stationary coop, you're going to be doing your work on your coop where it is. But for me, because I have the tractors, we're actually going to be moving most of our chickens into a lean-to area where I can take out the tractor on a really nice day. But if I know really bad weather is coming, I can go ahead and push that tractor into the lean-to, and I know my flock is going to be nice and safe. The other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at the ventilation. So I mentioned that I'm going to look at those vents that are on my coop, but I'm also going to make sure with my stationary coop that my flock is going to get the right amount of ventilation they need, but I'm also going to make sure that is protected from any drafts or anything like that. So depending on your coop, this may mean putting some covers up on the side or covers over your coop. You want to make sure your flock is protected from the wind and the elements, but you also want to make sure you have airflow. If you don't have sufficient airflow in your coop, you can get too much moisture, which can mean really bad things in your coop. Another thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure to gather anything that I need to do the deep litter method in my coop. And this year I'm going to be doing it more with my ducks than I am my chickens, but I am going to make sure that I have all my supplies together, which means extra chips and things like that to go into my bedding. Another really important thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to do a perimeter check all around where my coops are, all around the coop, and I'm going to make sure that predators cannot get into my coop during the winter time. In the winter, it's cold, it's snowy, and just as your chickens want to be safe, sometimes predators want to be safe too, so they try to get in the coop. So I'm going to make sure that I have good protection all around my coops, that there's no holes, no places for predators, that they can pull down anything, or any chance for them to get into the coop. We're going to eliminate all those chances. Another thing that I like to do right now is I'm going to check my heated waterers. I'm going to make sure the cords look really good, that when I plug them in, I see that the light's coming on, that they're working right. I'm going to make sure that I have a place in the coops where the heated waterers can go. I'm also going to make sure to give those heated waterers a really good cleaning. I cleaned them back at the end of the winter last year, but I'm going to clean them again this year, and we're going to make sure that those are ready to go. I don't put my heated waterers in until I absolutely need them, but when I do need them, I want to be able to grab them, plug them in, and know that my coop's water is going to stay unfrozen. Another task I'm going to complete is I'm going to check the feeders. So I make sure the waterers are good, but I'm also going to check those feeders. And again, going back to what we said about predators, I want to make sure that there is nothing in the coop that's going to attract predators. And that means making sure I have no food waste in the coop. So I make sure the feeders I use during the winter time reduce any food waste. I like to put little trays underneath my feeders to kind of collect the extra feed. And every day when I'm checking on my birds, I make sure to clean that up. So there's no extra feed left in the coop, and I know that my chicken's feed is going to be nice and safe. So there's not a lot of things that I have to do to get my flock ready for the winter. It's just part of routine maintenance. And it's really things that I do every season. Every season, I'm checking the coop's ventilation. I'm making sure that their bedding is good and everything is set up with that. I'm checking their feeders and their waterers. It's just a few little adjustments for the winter time. The last thing that I do is, because I have a lot of bantams, I will use a heat mat like this, and I hang it on the wall. And again, it's kind of like, I only use it when I absolutely have to, and I have like 2 silkies that like to use it, but I do like to plug it in and make sure that that's ready to go as well. I've left some links in the description below to some of my favorite winter products for my flock. If you have any questions, be sure to let us know in the comments below. Well, I think it's time for me to get back to work. Thank you so much for watching.